So what is conscious relating? I want to start with what is actually not conscious relating. So what is not conscious relating?
It's actually blaming the other.
Yeah. You did this to me
Yeah.
and you didn't reply, and I'm talking to you and you're not listening.
Yeah.
So every time this finger is like
Pointing to
your beloved, or also conscious relating is with our kids, with our colleagues at work, with our managers, with our family. So every time we point the finger, we are not conscious. We are in blaming and shaming, and we go into neediness and victim. And then the victim becomes a perpetrator. I told you, and don't you dare. And then you become a perpetrator, and then you become a victim, and then a helper comes and it is. And there is a drama, and there is a fight, and then you actually again meet each other, and it feels nice, and then you're like, oh, and you call it love. But actually, it's more some dynamic that runs on your patterns, on your pain body, on your emotions, on your thoughts, and it's not actually you, who you are, the best version of yourself, how you can relate. So what is conscious relating? Now that we know what it is not, what it is.
Conscious relating is actually when you point that finger. Sometimes it still happens when you're conscious relating, to grab that finger and say, "Ooh, that finger is actually not to point somewhere else." So you catch yourself in front of that, and you say, "Okay, what does it feel? How does it feel? How does it express this emotion? And where does it come from?" And when it's really conscious in a couple, and you're both conscious about it, the other couple can even say, "Okay, what's happening? How can I support you? How can I help you?" Because every time when we are getting in that trigger, we can let go of something. And that's the goal of being in a conscious relationship, that you can help each other through these moments.
So it's beautiful if you actually take ownership and you talk in I. Just to say, yeah, at this moment, I am triggered. I don't feel very well. I would need something different. I would need more attention. I feel that I'm talking and actually you're not listening. And if you talk in I, it already gives space, because then you talk about your experience. You're not saying that the things are like that. It's not the universal truth. It's just a feeling. So it gives space to the other person saying, okay, I hear you. You feel like that. It's also not something that you can attack, because actually that person feels like that. And it gives space to conversation. So I just want to also say that it's nice to speak up how you feel, but also to be mindful that it's not about speaking up, only speaking up. Because then again, I'm speaking up as a victim, and I want you to listen to me and to actually pay attention to what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's more like acknowledging what's happening, maybe the time that you need. I love to use breathwork. So when I get triggered, I know I need to breathe. And if I'm in good space and I am still feeling very connected, I love to ask you for help. Can we breathe together? And then it's very beautiful to breathe together. And yeah, very often I go into the emotion that is underneath the trigger. And that brings vulnerability, open space. There is actually connection. So through a trigger that apparently is separating us, you can indeed connect on a deeper level. And very often it's just going to the feeling of losing control, not feeling safe, reassurance of love. So you can ask for what you need. And it's totally perfect also say yes or no. So no attachment to that. But it is very different to ask, oh, I need to hear that you love me and that you want to spend time with me. Yeah, it feels different than claiming and blaming, shaming, and requiring. I think that it's a bit shadow of the family. We require something. This is our right, and we want it. So
it's also shadow for men. The neediness. You need to give me something. You need to love me, or you don't love me. So we're also within that man, and it's a practice. And I also want to say that when you're together in a trigger, sometimes it happens when you're both in a trigger, and we're both in a trigger. We just also can take a little bit of space and say, okay, what is actually happening? Mostly one of us is less in that trigger, and then we can find the other. Yeah.
Maybe to say what's really beautiful about becoming more and more conscious. Not only that, you feel amazing and you can actually access yourself. I know myself. My life is much easier with the knowledge of who I am and that I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions. I can navigate situations with much more comfort and ease. I can understand, okay, here is the part of Katerina that needs safety. How can I give it to myself? So it's just ease. And yeah, so just to say that conscious relating is not about just triggers and how to navigate triggers. It actually is very beautiful because most of the time it's lots of fun. It's lots of fun and beauty and discovery and curiosity and the ease of communicating and being who you are. So for me, conscious relating is going back to the version of myself as a kid with the innocence, without mask. So in conscious relating, it's really beautiful. You totally undress yourself. And when I'm undressing, I don't need the clothes. Just this is who I am with my shadows and with my gifts and dharmas and karmas. And I'm doing my inner work. And every time something happens, just to be willing to let go your ego, go on your knees and just choose love. Yeah, so conscious relating is to choose love, indeed.
Yeah. It's love for each other, but to choose love, self-love. And I think that's very beautiful to do that. And what it's also is, yeah, it's a very beautiful dynamic we both create in a way that is so deeply rooted that sometimes when I go out of that dynamic for myself, I'm like, wow, who am I almost? What is happening with me? And it's very beautiful to every time witness yourself, whatever I am. So it's also inspirational for me to see you getting more and more conscious about anything in it. So it helps me to say, okay, where can I step up? Where can I go further than I already am? And it's not to impress, it's really to feel like, it's very beautiful to feel you in peace, in joy, in gratitude. Even when you're triggered or even when I'm triggered, it's very beautiful to feel that. And just to feel this is just a moment. This is just a moment that also will pass. And you embody that very beautifully. And so it's also nice to be next to somebody that's really conscious to be inspired with that. To say, okay, so this is how we can cope with many things.
You actually cut the bullshit in the relationship. It's so nice.
Yeah.
So it creates so much spaciousness. I'm so happy that I'm not constantly positioning myself. I can be who I am. Yeah, I can grow in the relationship.
Yeah, and I also see that there is no fuss. Once it's out, the moment of trigger or whatever, it's out, there is no weeks or there is no irritation anymore. So I feel that's also very much the gold of conscious relating, or actually relating, but conscious relating, to spill it out, to have the emotion out, and then, okay, it's out and I learn something because it comes from somewhere and I learn something from myself, and then we can continue. So this was our takeaway for conscious relating. And if you feel like I want to know more of these guys, you can go to our website, thebreathworkclub.nl, and subscribe for our newsletter. Or subscribe here on YouTube or give us a like. And you think this is really nice to send to someone, be our guest. Send it to whoever it is. See you next time.